couple of years ago when I struggled with back and hip issues, one movement changed everything: the deep squat. And if you spend most of your day sitting, this is the single best fix out there. So today, I want to share with you guys the exact 3-step deep squat progression that took me from stiff and achy to a full pain-free deep squat. But first, why the deep squat? Well, the deep squat isn't just an exercise, it's a fundamental human movement. It's how we were built to sit, rest, and move. And believe it or not, we were all able to do it perfectly as kids. But in today's world, especially in the Western Hemisphere, most adults have lost it. And that's a big problem. Because once you stop squatting deep, your hips tighten, your knees lose stability, and your ankles get stiff. Now with all the mixed advice out there about deep squats, it's easy to get confused. So before we go any further, let's clear up the biggest myths that might be holding you back. Myth 1, squatting deep is bad for your knees. Now a lot of people believe this, I believed this at one point, but it's simply not true. Studies show when done properly, deep squats strengthen your knees and help prevent injuries. What's actually bad for your knees is not moving through their full ranges, because the less you use your joints, the weaker, stiffer, and more fragile they become. Myth 2, some people just aren't built to deep squat. While it is true that everyone's deep squat will look a bit different due to bone structure, I'll get back to that later, almost everyone can improve their deep squat if they just work on the right limitations. So now that we've gone through the biggest myths, let's go through what you can actually expect after unlocking your deep squat. For one, your hips will feel looser, making everyday movements, sports, and going to the gym way easier. Another thing that will happen, squatting, running, and jumping will feel way more powerful. And probably my favorite, you'll stop feeling stiff every time you get up from sitting. And finally, your knees and ankles will become more stable, reducing your risk of injury. So if all of this sounds good, here's a little test I'd like you guys to do. So make some space and try squatting as deep as you can and pay attention to what happens. If your heels lift off and you round your back, your spine, hips, and ankles all need a bit of work. But if only your heels lift off or your tibialis, the muscle right here, is working way too hard, then your ankles are the main issue. So keep your results in mind because they're going to show you which of the 3 squat progression levels is going to be right for you. Now just before we start, I do have to mention something very important. So the deep squat isn't a one-size-fits-all movement. Your squat is going to look different from mine, and that's completely normal. This is because some people have shorter femurs and longer torsos, such as myself, which makes it easier to stay upright. However, others have longer femurs, shorter torsos, so they naturally lean forward more. Neither is wrong, it's just going to look a bit different. The actual key is to keep your back fairly straight, since we don't want unnecessary tension in our lower backs. So let's start with level 1. If your heels lifted off the ground and your back rounded, this is where you're going to start. This is where I started not too long ago, so no worries if this is you. So to start, place something under your heels, like plates or a rolled up towel. This is going to have the effect of reducing ankle restriction, so you can squat way deeper. Then find a sturdy object to hold on to, then hold the bottom position for 10 seconds, then slowly stand back up. Repeat this for 5 to 8 reps, gradually spending more time at the bottom, helping your body get comfortable in that deep squat position. Now if you're very stiff, like I was, try moving around a bit. This is something that really helped me, and hopefully it will help you too. So once you're comfortable doing this, you can move on to level 2. If your only issue was ankle mobility, so your ankles lifted off the ground, this is where you're going to start. It's going to be the same exact movement as level 1, with the only difference being we're not going to hold on to anything. And usually this comes with a couple of new challenges. For one, your knees might start caving in. This is something we don't want since it places extra stress on your knee. Instead, actively plant your feet on the ground and think of rotating your knees out to keep them in line with your toes. The second thing you might notice is you feel wobbly or you kind of feel like you're going to lose balance. To fix this, brace your core before lowering down, as if you're going to squat something heavy. This is going to ground you in the movement and make you feel way more stable. So once this level feels solid, move on to level 3. Now if you're at level 3, you've most likely tried deep squatting before, and chances are you've probably tried forcing your way into it. But here's the problem. Doing that alone doesn't teach your body to actually use that range. You see, for the longest time, I thought I was just naturally stiff. No matter how much I stretched, my heels popped up, my back rounded, and I felt stuck. So I just kind of assumed that some people were just built different, and I was one of the unlucky ones. That was until I realized the massive difference between passive flexibility and active flexibility. You see, passive flexibility is when you force yourself into a position through deep, long stretches. While there's definitely a time and place for that, it's not the best way to build range you can actually use in sports, at the gym, or just being active in life. On the other hand, active flexibility, which is really just another word for mobility, is when you can control that range with strength. And if you want to learn how to deep squat more effortlessly, this is what you need to focus on. So how do you start building this to truly unlock your deep squat? Well, by adding weight. You see, when you use light resistance in deep squat positions, you're not just stretching, you're actually also teaching your body to move through that range with control. And 3 important things happen because of this. 1, you gain more usable flexibility, not just borrowed range from stretching. Number 2, you strengthen your muscles in deep positions, which will help prevent injuries. And number 3, your body learns to trust and own that range, so over time, movement feels smoother and more natural. So start by holding a light kettlebell or dumbbell or any weight in front of your chest. Then keep your feet grounded and sink into the deep squat. Then hold the bottom position for 5 seconds, which is going to feel like an eternity, and then push up. And as for how heavy the weight should be, that kind of depends on your strength levels. My recommendation is start small to play it safe and see what your body can handle. I personally go for 20 to 30% of my body weight. Repeat this for 8 reps with 3 sets, focusing on control the whole time. So to recap, spend more time at level 1 or 2 if you're just starting out, and when you feel ready and stable, move on to level 3. But let's take this a step further. So here's a challenge for you guys. For the next 7 days, spend at least 5 minutes every day in the deep squat position. This is going to accelerate your progress and free your hips in no time. So if you enjoyed this video, consider watching this video next to truly unlock your hamstrings in a way that actually works. Alright guys, take care and thanks for watching.